All right, we're live. Let me show the link real quick. What time is it there? Is it 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock there?
No, it's 7 o'clock right now.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
No, it's really not. It's a good time. I have some things I got to do tomorrow, but at the moment I'm just looking for a job.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
Actually, quite good. Like I have to wait for a PCR test I did today, and then I will call the company tomorrow. I had to delay something last week, and then I'm probably going to show. I'm going to show up there, and then we're going to talk things through. And if it works out for everyone, then next job.
All right. Okay. Well, tell me about it. Tell me how things have been since the last time we chatted. Things got a little crazy out there, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the one thing that happens is that, like, I don't know if you know the situation about the current government in Austria.
Like with new COVID stuff, or?
No, like in general, because like there was a couple, I don't remember exactly. I think 1 or 2 years ago there was a scandal of one politician got into a scam that was set up by some German newspaper and a German comedian, and that led to the government actually getting dissolved. And instead of the more conservative party, the Green Party got into the coalition with the leading party in general. And then the Chancellor Kurz had a scandal. Now he was set back, and I think since November or something, we are now have our, like, there was one chancellor, then he stepped down. Now we have another one, and this guy and the Minister of Health, like, they went totally crazy since they've been in office. Like literally every week something changes, some things get more regulated, and they really go full authoritarian.
Was this lady? You brought up a lady's name one time. Is that who you were talking about?
Oh no, she's leading the European Union. That's another story in general.
Something else.
Yeah.
God. Oh my God.
It's freaking politics. And so since the last time, now we do have the mandates for the forced vaccination. So
for everybody, not just
yeah,
to work, just for everybody.
Everybody.
How are they, like, what are they doing? Are they like going door to door or shit?
I mean, they are still lacking the infrastructure and everything, so that's not going totally well. Even the government employees said that the soonest they could manage would be April. So right now, a lot of people are getting appointments, and you gotta show up there. If not, you get fined. What they also, yeah,
and he's in Austria.
And what they also did is that they made it illegal to protest against the forced vaccination. And the other part is that you still got to sign this freaking paper which says, in case something happens with the vaccine, if you get any side effects or anything, that you cannot sue the government or the farmer, the concern.
And that's just nice. That's nice how they work that out for themselves like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's great, like, to have a government freaking ignoring the Codex of Nuremberg. So that's
especially over there, of all places, like in that part of the world.
Absolutely. What else did they do? Oh yeah, they shortened the time frame you have your vaccinated status if after your second shot, so it's only going to be 6 months.
So yeah, were you fully vaccinated yet, or not quite yet?
No, that's going to be on Friday.
Okay, that'll be, and you've had your second shot or third shot then?
I don't know. I've had the first one in December, and now we'll get the second one on Friday.
Good Lord. So was that protest you were at that before the last time was like was that the last protest pretty much, or are people still protesting?
Oh, they are. Like in Vienna, they actually the police ended the protests pretty soon on Saturday, and they arrested people because now they can find them, I think, with like a couple of $100, like 300 to 500. Yeah. But like in Linz, Salzburg, and in Graz, they actually did bigger protests. And as far as I know, the police wasn't too much against it.
Okay.
I mean, those are more worker areas, and like I've heard they were big. Over the last weekend, I was in Munich, so I wasn't here.
So, what was I gonna ask? So, like, why did they drop all the restrictions in some countries, and then now you have Austria going the other way?
That's a very good question. I really don't know, especially with these politicians we have right now. It's very obvious that they don't really have a clue. They don't really look into the infrastructure. As I said, like when our Minister of Health was like, yeah, for the workplaces, everybody needs to be tested negatively and blah, blah, blah. That didn't go too well. The infrastructure was totally understaffed, definitely. And it's kind of the same thing right now, but they just go for it. It's like they really don't care.
They have the control, and why would they stop now? I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if there's a chance that we'll see what happens. There's a good chance that there will be re-elections, but then there's like in the parliaments here in Austria, you also have like the president who gets elected by the politicians who form the government, and this guy has to uh, like this guy has to give his blessing so somebody can become chancellor, and the best candidate from the Conservative Party is someone where this president said like he wouldn't want him to be chancellor. So we'll see where that's going. It's getting wild now.
Well, I mean, at least you're having positive results for not for COVID, but for finding a new job and stuff, I suppose. At least that's good.
I mean, you gotta live here. You gotta see what happens. I mean, apart from the COVID shit, like we also obviously have the Ukraine topic.
Yeah, what is everyone saying that out there?
I've heard a lot of voices actually, especially from Germany, which surprised me, that who were like, yeah, Russia is totally bad and everything. Yeah, okay, Putin's not a good guy, but if we go to war with Russia over Ukraine, that's not going to be good for us. It's not going to be good for the Russians. And we did sit down when, China went to Hong Kong and did a lot of bad shit there. And I'd rather have a conflict with a nation which is leading economical warfare against us, which Russia obviously isn't, because they are only interested in their gas deals and everything.
Right. Oh, here's the question someone asked about the firearm laws in Austria.
Not good. The firearm laws are like there are like some shotguns you can buy without any special permit or anything, but you still have to have a safe, which is very expensive, and then you have to store the gun and the ammunition separately. So like, it's not really worth bothering with it.
Good Lord. What are they going to do? That, like you said, there's no infrastructure, which the same thing with the testing was happening here in America, where they were running out of all these tests. And I know you had said that a while ago in Austria, they're like, they were running out of tests. And so it's like, why? What the hell is going on?
I really don't know. We got to see what's happening here. I mean, protests are all over the place. Like on Saturday, we went to protest in Augsburg, which was the mood there was nice, and it looked like the support from the people there was actually pretty welcoming. And but there were like 8,000 people going there, which was a good thing. There were a good mix of people, like from all kinds of family backgrounds. Some people had huge family issue or huge issues with the vaccine side effects in their families and everything.
And would you say a lot of the people going to the protest are vaccinated or against the whole mandate thing, or would you say it's like half and half, not vaccinated? Or
I didn't really talk to people, so I can't really tell, but I'd say it's probably a mix. Like right now in Austria, the people who are getting the booster, it's not as many. Like I looked at the numbers yesterday, and the majority still has like got 2 shots, but with the third shot and how everything turns out, I think a lot of people are also, especially now with the laws, are rebelling a little bit more.
Justin O'Donnell, he said in Florida they just had a bunch of tests expired because nobody wanted to get tested.
Yeah, I think with the instant tests, it works like that too. Here we get the PCR tests. People definitely are getting tested. You just go there. You can book an appointment or not, but usually you get through. And I mean, even if you like 2 times vaccinated now, they also decided that if you have got the 2 jabs, you have to still get tested if you want to go into a bar, a club, or basically anywhere.
It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. I know out here, like you said, people are getting a little less people are doing the booster. I'm getting that sentiment out here. Not that I talk to a shit ton of people anymore, but it sounds like people that like I knew and stuff, like they got this 2 shots, they got sick, and so now they're like, what the fuck? So they're just not going to get the boosters now.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, we have Czech Republic, as far as I know. The Czech Republic definitely dropped the idea of any mandates, so that's not going to happen.
That's right. They were the other place that did that too.
I heard Ireland actually dropped kind of everything, and Scotland too.
What? That's so crazy. What do they know? Like, what do they know? And then, like, why are other countries not like backing out? Oh, someone's asking if people are leaving Austria. Are they leaving the country, Mike?
Yeah, I can see that. Like, I won't, because I have some things to do to build up for my future. So I'm definitely going to stay here for a while.
Well, yeah, you're almost on your way to a new job and everything. So
yeah, and like this year, I have some plans to set up. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, political activism is getting bigger again. There are a few people who have some ideas, but we don't really have a big libertarian movement. And there's the scare that if things change drastically, like with an economic crash or anything, that the communists would probably take over. I mean, the majority of academia and journalists is communist in Europe, at least in the West.
It's crazy. This is crazy. Who would have thought this was gonna fucking happen? But
yeah.
Oh, KJ curious. So I heard that about Mexico too. That you only have to test to get back into America. But then someone else was like, "No, you still have to take a test to get to Puerto Vallarta." But then I was looking. It's hard to like substantiate everything or know exactly what's going on. So that's okay. If someone else says Mexico is doing it too, and then.
I mean, I know a guy who moved from Germany to Mexico like a couple of months ago. He's planning to get to the United States with his wife and children. I think she is an American or something, but right now they are in Mexico and they just left. Like, nope, I'm going to stay here.
Well, I heard, Anthony Samaroff, he's been in Mexico for a little bit, and he says there's a ton of ex-Americans down in Mexico right now. I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, guess, all right, like the expat thing going on, but in Mexico. I'm like, I don't know if I'd go to Mexico, but.
Yeah, I mean, like, I heard a lot about South America, like from Acapulco. You sometimes have like the discussions where they talk about how there are more and more American communities all over South America where people just left the United States because it was becoming too authoritarian.
It's true. So how have you been for the last, I don't know, it's been like probably 3 weeks since we talked, or a month maybe.
Pretty calm. Like, I mean, you got to figure some things out. Then obviously you have the situation and take care of yourself so you don't mentally go down. Like going to Munich was definitely a very good idea to socialize and just, get out and travel a little bit and not be totally isolated and everything. And once I get my great vaccinated status, I'm gonna probably do a few more things to socialize. Definitely gonna go to Prague to party.
Yeah. Is that in the Czech? Is Prague in the Czech?
Yeah, that's the capital.
So you do have to be like vaccinated to get into Czech right now, or no? Like just more in your own country to get back in.
Yeah, back in definitely. Like when I came back on Sunday, they had the military at the Salzburg Central Station, I got out of the train which came from Bavaria, and they were like, "Yeah, your papers, please." And then I showed them like my negative test, and they were like, "Yeah, but vaccination." I was like, "Sure, I have one shot, and that's about it. The next appointment for the second one is going to be this week." So the soldier just looked at me like, "But you need two." I was like, "Yeah, what do we do now?" Just, yeah, okay, go.
So they didn't say anything about that yet, about not having the second one. They let you in.
I mean, what were they supposed to do? Like, if they would have fined me, I would probably have changed my mind about it. Where it's like, yeah, okay, now I'm indebted and fucked up. I probably have to go to prison. All right, fuck that shit.
Ugh, so crazy. Well, the Czech is better now, Justin. Justin just saying you always wanted to go to Prague. I'm a loser and I never wanted to visit most of the places in the world. So I'm like, well, now I can't even fucking go to Mexico or back, but we're getting there.
I mean,
we're getting there.
The United States are pretty big, so in Europe we only have all those smaller countries and everything, which can be
you are
good and a bad
basically
thing.
like it's also close together and smaller populations in each country and stuff. So
yeah,
not all that different, I suppose.
and
That's why we're like, we should make our states countries here. We need to balkanize.
yeah, Florida's going to be first.
God.
Like some of us are making jokes like, okay, is this the point where we can go like to the Florida embassy and be like, yeah, can we get asylum?
Right? Yeah, I wonder how they're doing that nowadays. Like since all this bullshit started happening. Like, well, if you go to the southern border and come in, it sounds like you pretty much get in. So
Yeah, we made jokes about that too. Like, I mean, we had the entire refugee situation happening here in 2015, and there were a lot of people who just lost their passports, and they were like, "Yeah, I'm totally like a teenager from country blah blah blah." And then you've had there were some people who actually spoke like the Syrian dialects and everything, and in a lot of some cases, or maybe a lot of cases, I don't know the numbers exactly. The people were like, "Nah, they're bullshitting. This is no dialect from any place in Syria." So like, who knows, maybe there's gonna be this thing where a lot of very Caucasian looking people are on the Mexican border and be like, no, we're totally Mexican. Yeah, we lost our passports.
we're just lights. There are light skinned Mexicans, so it's totally fine.
Yeah, yes, no, all of us Mexican, I promise you.
Oh, Donald. Yeah, Justin, international flights without the vaccine. And then coming back to America. It's like, what if you leave? And then all of a sudden they're like, well, you have to have a vaccine to come back. Are you dual citizenship, Justin? He was just saying this here. Because I know to get back in America, if you're not American, you have to be vaccinated. I don't know. It is just weird.
I think right now with the flight laws here, you still because it's like those are international, they cannot be easily changed by nations. I think when you get in, if you get into Austria, you obviously now need to have the vaccinations. But there are a lot of other countries where you can't just. You need the PCR test in general, like a negative one, vaccinated or not, if you want to travel.
Okay. Well, once you get vaccinated, you should try to get to America right away.
Yeah, I'll see what the situation does and how things are turning out.
Because that's what's got to be the next step. If they're making these laws, then the next step has to be going door to door. Like what's in their mind, like that has to be the next step.
Yeah, and we have to see what the citizens are doing and how they react, how the media work. I mean, the media obviously is not on the side of the people, obviously. And we don't have the discussions like which groups of people are mostly unvaccinated, which would be workers, and also Muslims are definitely an ethnic group, though ethnic group, it's a religious group. You can convert easily. So a lot of Muslims are not vaccinated either for spiritual reasons, whatever. And this is something a lot of people also don't talk about. And the problem also is that when we have the protests, the Muslim communities, they have their separate thing, and they don't really join the protests, although they like from how they live or want to live. It would make sense, but it's really hard to. I would say like a good amount of the community, Muslim communities, don't see them use themselves as part of this culture at all. They just do their
Yeah, is
own
there a lot
thing.
of Muslims in Austria as well?
Yeah,
As Germany?
absolutely.
Okay.
In the cities, definitely. If you go to the like if you go rural, it's gonna be less. And like I mean, Austria is obviously a country where we also have a lot of other migrant groups, which well, can be fine, but it depends. Like I mean, there are a lot of hardworking Muslims, but still, a lot of some of them have the mindset where they are like, yeah. Some people come from Afghanistan, and when the Taliban took over, they were like, "Yeah, we actually welcome that. We like the Taliban and everything." Like, that's gonna be a different mindset. This is not really. It's not working well with how the mindset of most people are, or how the mindsets of Western people or people who actually want to be part of this culture works. And so that's a topic too. We have a lot of things happening here in Europe, and a lot of.
I'm gonna get canceled for saying this, but like, what if we just convince them like be terrorists again against the whole vaccine stuff and like, you know?
I would say like that it would be easy to do that if actually the politicians would go like, yeah, okay, now we're gonna do lockdown again. That goes for churches and mosques, and I think if they would
Yeah.
actually bring the police to the mosques, that would definitely provoke a conflict.
Yeah. Shoot. I think yeah, the suicide bombers and all that stuff. Like it just feels like if we could just convince everyone from every culture. I don't want I don't think every culture should have to assimilate. Obviously, you have to coexist in a certain but like for this situation and what's going on, then this worldwide shit, you know, it's like yeah, someone just said the Taliban has more like that's what I don't get. Everyone's talking about covering like women's faces in Afghan, and they're getting all mad about that. And I'm like, yeah, they want to cover kids' faces all over. Like they want to cover kids' faces. How is that different? You know?
Yeah, I mean, like for yeah, I mean there is like definitely a topic where there are differences in that. What's happening here right now should be more of our concern. And yeah, like even if you are like even for the people who are afraid like, oh yeah, it's totally, you think it's the most deadly pandemic ever, still the way our politicians react and how they do their weird decisions and go like, no, these people have to get tested, these people don't have to. I mean, we've had a freaking lockdown for unvaccinated since December, or I think November, and the Rona numbers went up again. And yesterday they were at a peak. Like I think like 200,000 people or anything had a positive test or whatsoever. But it couldn't have been the unvaccinated who didn't go out, because where were where were people going? It's not possible.
That's what I keep trying to tell people. I'm like, listen, they're not like even in Colorado, the unvaccinated haven't been allowed to concerts since like midsummer. We haven't been allowed to go dancing. Restaurants, a lot of places still can go, but like in Denver, there's not much that the unvaccinated have been able to do. So I'm like, why are we blaming them? They're not fucking like some of me. Obviously, I don't want this to happen. But some of me is like, fine, make everything vaccinated only, but they'll see the numbers climb and they'll still blame unvaccinated somehow. Like they
Yeah,
still will do it.
this is exactly what's happening here. I mean, our great minister of health, like, oh, dude, this guy has such a he has a face where I hope I don't meet him in person ever.
His face? Why you want to punch his face or his face?
What? No, totally not. I don't want to punch that cokehead. What?
Oh God. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
no, he said something like, "Yeah, if 85% of the people are vaccinated, we're gonna open up again." I'm like, I mean, I'm getting the freaking vaccine. Still gonna say like, yeah, no, you won't.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just like with everything this whole time, it's like it's been that. It's been well, okay, the government's imposing something and it makes no sense on based on anything, but people are like, well, you just gotta do what they would say. And it's like, no, no, that's not how life should fucking work. But
Yeah, but then people have to. have an idea about freedom or anything, like on the weekend, I've talked to a friend, and we also discussed topics like, yeah, why are a lot of young people are complying or not really reading into political topics and not really informed, and obviously they just want to, have their lives back, which is absolutely understandable. But
Go out against the people who are taking their lives away, which is the
Yeah.
people who make the rules, not their neighbor.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know what the effects there are. There are also like other societal problems with. Yeah, we have a lot of issues to work on here. Like yesterday, one flatmate told me about a story where she went to a museum on the weekend, and there was this dude taking pictures of her and her friends constantly, and she was the only one kind of speaking out, and her friends were like, yeah, maybe he has important business and everything, and she felt bad for speaking out. She was like, did I do the right thing? And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with young women that they actually have to second guess themselves in a situation like this, where the clear response would be like, fuck off, dude.
This is crazy.
Yeah, and I see how, like, I see, like, when this becomes already like the topic, I do see why a lot of young people also don't question the situation itself here. Just go with the numbers, trust the media and everything, because this is like, we've been trained to follow a narrative through school. Parents did a lot of European parents, I would say, didn't do too good of a job. I would say like they outsourced like the entire raising part to the schools here, and our public schools are obviously full of weird and sometimes messed up people.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
Good to
That's
see.
I was even people like I was getting mad because everyone's like, "Oh, I got the Omicron, I got this." I'm like, you do not know that. You do not know what variant you have, and the only reason you're talking about variants is because you've been trained by the narrative for the last 2 years to worry about variants. Because you didn't, you sure were like, "Oh, I got the rhino, I got this variant of the rhinovirus." No one ever fucking said that shit before. Never, ever, ever. You know, and they're saying it now. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, like we have had the swine flu and everything, but that's also the other point where some people go like, yeah, but if you really have, like, if you really get the Rona and it hits you hard, well, have you ever had a hard flu? Like, if your fever goes up a lot, like to the critical areas, yeah, that shit can kill you. And the flu does kill a lot of people, but we are more used to that. And then people go like, no, you cannot compare it to that. Go into a hospital, talk to the people who had to work with the people who really got a bad case of the flu.
That's how I had grandparents who like got colds and flu and then they got pneumonia and died. Like that's literally what happened.
Yeah.
All prior to Corona.
The world is a deadly place. Oh, yeah, something also happened today in Germany, but there we gotta see about like the information, what it's going to be like. Somebody went to university and tried to shoot a couple of people. I think he only wounded people, and then the police shot him.
I was in Germany?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't hear anything about it yet. That was just like when, this weekend or?
No, that was today.
It's today. Oh yeah, today's almost, it's Monday. Monday's almost over for you.
Yeah. That was like, I think 6 hours ago something. And now we're gonna see. Like, I'm hoping. I mean, it's a bad situation anyway, but I have a little bit of a fear that this might have been
Heidelberg.
Yeah, exactly.
Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did.
One person. It looks like 4 injured and just the shooter is dead.
Yeah. So, like, with the current political situation, I'm kind of afraid that somebody might step out and maybe do something like that, or attack a politician. And I think once that happens, the backlash would be really, really, really bad.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, they're fine with like these shooters going into this. They said it was in a lecture hall or going into the the movie theaters, whatever. They're fine, or the grocery stores here. They're like, oh, but we're just going to enact major gun laws. But the minute they actually someone goes after politicians or whatever, people, government workers, shit would be bad for everybody. Like everyone would get in trouble for that, basically. Like,
yeah. and there are literally people dropping out of universities. One thing I've also noticed around the city where I live is that the homelessness numbers definitely have visibly increased, and there's a scaring amount of people between 20 and 30 who are now homeless. Probably lost their jobs, their motivations, and everything. And with the bureaucratic system here, I think it's kind of it's also a little bit harder to get back on track because you have to have a place like an address, an official address, in order to get a job. You cannot do like day-to-day work. It's not a thing here.
Yep.
And
They
I
try to
think,
cut down on that, but then they're like, then people, I don't know. Yeah, it's weird like about that here too.
yeah, so like it's interesting where that's going. Like in the harbor area that they 1 or 2 weeks ago, I've seen around 20 to 30 people around that age range who all slept under like a small isolated area where they wouldn't get the cold wind and everything, and they were a little bit safe from snowfall or rain. That was weird. And if that's gonna, I mean, that's obviously gonna increase. A lot of people, like a big part of the Austrian economy has been definitely the service industry and like tourism and everything. So that's pretty much dead right now, I would say.
Yeah, I'd assume because Vienna's where the horses are, right? The Lipizaners,
Yeah,
whatever. I bet not as many people. Well, if that's the one thing that sucks is all these dumb shits like nothing, nothing against people getting vaccinated, but there's so many people who did it right away just to be able to travel or just to be able to, and then like that just gave them more power to be like, oh yeah, we can implement this, we can
yeah,
make more people do it, we will make more people do it.
yeah. I mean, I don't blame the people who got it in 2020. Like, I think it's stupid I didn't get it. Now I will get it, but I'm also taking supplements and everything. So hopefully the risk of bad side effects is not going to be bad. I mean, the last one definitely gave me issues.
Yeah, aren't Glocks made in Austria? Aren't Glocks Austrian or is that German?
Yeah, but if you want to go get a 9 millimeter, you have to get like a license, and then they check up on you if you have like a 9 millimeter way more often.
Interesting.
So, yeah, like if you want to go to a country in Europe where you have good gun laws, you go to Czech Republic.
Okay. Sounds like
They
the
do.
Czech's the place to go nowadays.
Yeah, like I had a feeling it might be an.
Although, don't they like traffic women there a lot too? Of course, that happens fucking everywhere, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you always have like some. We do have mobsters and everything like that. Shit obviously happens, but I've heard the life policy in Czech Republic has been getting better and better, and you have concealed carry rights, so that's pretty good.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah, and the gun restrictions, like you can buy a lot of guns in Czech Republic. I think you can also have like rifles and machine guns, so that stuff is pretty good. And they do have a gun culture.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Slavic or former Soviet countries are. You have some of their governments being like, yeah, we're complying and we're doing that. European Union give us money, but from what I've heard, a lot of people are just doing whatever they want. In Russia, it's definitely like that.
Well, yeah, and they've probably always been like they're doing what the fuck they want anyways, and they'll lie or say shit if they want. Which obviously there can be bad people too, bad governments too. But now I'm like, I don't really fuck them all. Like all of them are gonna do what the fuck they want. All of them are gonna try and hurt their people at this point. Like,
Yeah, people gotta get together. I mean, like with the politicians we have here are totally a joke. You cannot take them seriously. Whatever projects they touch, even apart from the COVID thing, like everything they try to touch and to regulate and get on becomes a catastrophe that just eats up money. It's like black holes
it
for
makes
money.
them more. It gives them more money too. The politicians.
Yeah, this is something which I would love to have people talk about. Actually, it's like our ministers definitely in Austria get a monthly pay of like 20K. This is without bonus money, by the way. Like they also get like some bonus payments and everything. So on a yearly base, it's like 200K, maybe something towards 300K. And for that kind of money, I'd actually wish people would be like, yeah, if you get that amount of money, you have a fucking job to do, and you're not doing it.
That's true. Justin in the chat's going. He's in Minecraft. He's all like threatening. It's all good though. I get it. I feel the same way. That's what someone like just when people put it in perspective, it's like they don't even create anything. They don't create a good. They don't provide a service. They take from us who provide goods and provide services and create and whatever. And then they tell us how to do it, even though they don't fucking do nothing. Like, it's just so frustrating, too, because they just grow, even though they produce nothing. They produce fucking nothing, you know? It's just control and shit. It's so stupid. There's not, like, yeah, we can hurt them. We could try to hurt them. But like we said, the minute we actually go after them, like January 6th, which whatever, if that was fake or not, but and that was probably just to show what they would do in like retaliation. Like if you try to come after us in any way, even if it was our fucking creation, this is what we're going to do to you, you know, like, and half those people are still in, like, there's a lot of those people who have been in jail for 6 months. And it's like, what can we do? Like,
That's
I'm like, they're just going to come door to door here. I'm like, that's what I'm just waiting for. I'm like, obviously, like, there's some protests I'll go to and stuff. We had a big one this Sunday, but I didn't go. But, like, because half the time I'm like, A, what's to stop them from attacking people? What's to stop them from doing something stupid? And then, like, B, I like going just to meet people. I don't necessarily think it does much. But, yeah, what are they? Then their next step is to come door to door and do shit. And that's like, okay, fine. Come on.
I mean, I guess like one thing you kind of can do is, this is something to learn from the Muslim population, who kind of does whatever they want. Like at the beginning when we had lockdowns, that I'd like to take some walks and everything, and then I walked next to a mosque, and they were all going. I was like, all right, you guys kind of don't care. That could inspire a lot of people. Could take an inspiration from that. And if you go to the rural areas, I definitely know that a lot of places do not follow the rules. It's just go to a small community, have your own little parallel part of the world. But for people living in the cities, it's definitely not going to get better.
Right. No, yeah, definitely. I'm getting that. Like, I'm just in the suburbs, and luckily I'm gonna be able to get out here in the next year. We're gonna be like slowly moving to my childhood home, and I'm like, thank God. But even then, who knows? But yeah, I don't even know anymore, because why would, in all these cities, and people are paying top dollar to live in them here, like, it's just, God, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Like, I did enjoy the cities when they used to be fun, but now everything's also streamlined. The rents went up way too much, so you don't get the nice things we used to have, like small businesses. Oh, there's a cafe, there's a concert, you go there. There's the small independent-owned club by some guy who's just really in it because he enjoys the music, he likes parties, shit like that. And it's not getting there, but
I know there was a lot of Afghanistan refugees came to Colorado, so maybe we just need to get them and be like, right, let's go. It's like we don't give a fuck about the rules anymore. Let's do this shit. Justin, yeah, I feel the same. See, Escape from Babylon, like the government doesn't really have anything. They just have power over people's minds. That's really and they have all the big guns and shit too. But I mean,
yeah,
what are they gonna do?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm done, Justin, too.
Yeah, that's pretty much annoying. Like, I mean, I'm definitely gonna cut myself some slack and enjoy some of the freedom I have. I'm definitely gonna go to a festival in in Hungary this year, but I don't think I will go out a lot in Austria. Like, maybe I will go to a gym or something. That's gonna be it, and for a lot of other things, yeah. It's a better idea to go to countries where things are a little
I'm
bit.
just interested, like, what their next step is. Okay, we've made it so everybody has to get vaccinated. Because, in America, we've been complaining about it, but I can still go to my grocery store and actually, I have a mask mandate and I haven't fucking worn a mask and no one does anything, So it's still like, okay. But it's like, yeah, what is their next step when they want to do that? Like, because everything we thought they could do over the last 2 years, they have. Like
Yeah.
everything, you know. It's like I don't want to think about what they could do because they could do it, you know.
Yeah, that's what we're going to find out in this country very soon, I guess. I mean, the protests are not going to stop if they, but I mean, they are playing a risky game if they start to arrest a lot of the protest people, because the majority of them are not from academia. They are from the working class. They are parts of what keeps up the supply chains. And if they want to fuck with that, they can. It's just not going to end nice.
Yeah, that's Justin just said they, and that's true because if they didn't fucking bomb the like, which they did bomb the shit out of everybody out there, but they didn't like bomb the whole shit, and like here in America they would have to like bomb all of us or do something like major like that, and I don't think they would, but ooh.
Yeah, this is scary times, and we got. I mean, here we got to figure out what to do and how to do it. There was some discussion about that topic over the weekend, because like we do have a growing number of libertarian leaning people in Europe, which is starting, but the problem is like a good part of the groups, they are very, very theoretical. You go into it and then you have all of those discussions. It's like, did you read Mises? Did you read Rothbard? I'm the best libertarian there is because I got crypto and blah, 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 and fuck the state, fuck collectivism. And I'm the best libertarian. We're going to be so collectivist about how to be libertarian.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the worst. I
So
know.
that there has to be some slack cut out of that. And I mean, one thing we said was like, yeah, there needs to be something that has, it's like a welcoming place, a little bit like on the idea of how some Antifa places are organized. We have these Antifa places where there are cultural events, book readings, sometimes parties or something. And obviously you will have people who go like, oh, you want to talk about communism and everything. But overall, it's going to be a very social event. That's the best idea you can have anyway. I don't know, like some libertarian organized illegal raves or something.
I know that. Well, that's like not necessarily libertarian, but like at least the free friends out here were like, we just want to. I just want to dance in a loud dance club one more time. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna try and make something or speakeasies or whatever. But I don't know, I keep thinking like people are gonna wake up, but now it almost seems like people are just doubling down. Even if they know it, they're wrong. They're just not. They're not giving it up. You know.
Yeah, I mean, we live in times where it's very hard for people to admit that they sometimes fuck up. And we see it with our politicians, no matter how hard they fuck up. It's like, what? No, I'm not going to say the one thing that would be actually honest and show that I have at least some remaining integrity.
Yeah. No. No, even out here, our governor for a little bit was like, "Oh, I'm super libertarian." So for 2 years, he fucked us up. He had all these rules, and then all of a sudden, he's like, "I'm not making rules anymore. People should be able to make their own decisions." And he's all trying to be like libertarian and like get the red vote out here and stuff. But then he's still passing. He just passed. He's passing more gun laws. And what did he just pass? He just passed something so stupid where I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, you're not even like care about none of that stuff. So, but they have all the control. Like he literally doesn't have to do shit, and he'll probably get elected again because the cities are so full now, and they'll like it's city versus rural, you know, and
Yeah. I mean, also we will see like if it's going to be very interesting. Like if in case we get re-elections, that's definitely going to be a very traumatic thing to happen. Because I do see a chance that if we do get them, there might be a good shift towards the Conservative Party, especially after these mandates and everything. It's not like going to be the big push or anything. It's still going to be like our Social Democrats will still get a lot of votes, and I really don't get how people can vote Social Democrat at all. Like these people, we are for the working class. Yeah, and everything you decide like just fucks the working class.
Every time, even all last year, like all these people are like general strike because people aren't making any money by all these kids who they like literally live in their parents' basements and they haven't worked actual any hard labor in their life, and they're like, we're fighting for these people, and it's like you literally made their life harder. Like you literally made their life harder. I don't even get it.
Yeah, and I mean, the other topics we would have here is, I mean, I'd say for a lot of Western European countries, the major topic shouldn't necessarily just be the Rona thing, but also the health care system, because in the past 15 years at least, hospitals have had they like saved money in the hospitals, like on staff and equipment, and the entire bureaucratic apparatus of the insurance companies themselves was getting bigger and eating up money. It's the same with our freaking unions, where you look into it and it's like they employ way more people than they would actually need. You could replace a lot of those people with just algorithms, which don't get an hourly pay, which is good.
I know it's like that always confused me with some of our unions out here because they're always fighting for more pay, and it's like, well, just stop paying the union people money, and you will have more pay in your paycheck. Like I get there are uses for it in some places, but I've always been like these people are living high on the hog. They're not producing anything. They're not doing that. You're doing an actual fucking job, and you're paying these guys money to protect you. Like,
I mean, we got to see, like, even if you go to some of the protests, we do have a good amount of people who are totally conspiracy theorists, not in a good way. And then, as I said, like, we do have an amount of people who are like, yeah, Trump is totally going to come back and Trump is going to save Austria and Europe. And are you listening to yourself? Have you ever considered that, like, let's say there are some psyops? Do you know how this makes you sound towards other people who are really not on your side? Do you think you can convince them starting shit like that? I don't think so.
Yeah, just bringing him up is so like it just turns people like me or anybody away. I'm like, no, like why are you even trying to put energy into that? Especially out here, I got attacked like all day the other day by people on the right because I said, oh, Trump put the emergency order in place here. He literally did it. He literally did that. Like, and I got attacked all day, and I'm like, it's a fucking fact. He put the order in place. He could have took it out because that was April. He could have took it out before he left, and he did it. And now he's pushing the vaccine. So, like,
I mean, like it's the same thing with how he could have pardoned Julian Assange.
Right? Yeah, and Snowden and Noss and could have fired Fauci. Like, if he didn't do shit then, why do you think he's going to do it again now? Like, or do something right now? I understand there were some things like with our employment was good went under him and things like that, but like the most important thing that fucking happened was the corona, and he was not good about that. So
yeah, a lot of people weren't actually. I mean, yeah, and then people really do need to stop. And I don't know how it would be possible to pull this one off, but a lot of people need to stop looking for this shining leading figure. This person is going to do the work I'm not willing to put in.
Exactly. And they're still the same. They still steal from us. Trump still gets paid by us and all that shit. Like,
I mean, it's the same in every freaking company where you have, like, I don't know, a new manager who's maybe Canadian, and he goes like, oh, yeah, I could totally fire a couple of people and we can increase the production. And that's going to give me more money. And instead of talking about that guy, a lot of people will talk about each other and, stab each other in the back and be like, these people are the ones who fuck up and everything. Then talk to them and you're like, have you considered sitting together, actually talking about the issue? Maybe not only gossip about that department and anything, like maybe go to them, talk to them, because I can almost guarantee that they also have like some regulations which are pissing them off where they can't really do their job, because the general concept is maybe shit. And if you get together and communicate, then you could do something. But every time you tell that to people, they go like, yeah, but there are people who are getting paid for doing that. Are they doing it? Nope.
It's how have they kept people so split up? They've just basically made it so people never think to like they'll only organize under a union or whatever. It's like, no, you can actually like we could do some shit here. Like,
yeah. It's kind of the same when you teach people self-defense. Like, a lot of people would just go like, yeah, if I self-defend, that's not aggression. You're like, no, if you self-defend, you have to be ready to hurt someone. And it's a nice word. It sounds more noble than actually I'm counterattacking, but this is literally what you will do in a moment where you have to defend yourself.
Yeah, you gotta be serious about it too, especially with the government. But that's like I said, I'm like, whatever. If they come door to door, that's it for me because I ain't fucking dealing with that shit. Like the first person at the door I'll get, and then they'll get me, and then whatever. Like, and that's sad. Like I'm fucking sad. Look, my white privileged girl ass sitting here having to think about like I might die by cop soon enough. You never know. That's what's scary too. Is all these people like even what they were saying if we're gonna send people to Russia and Ukraine. I'm like, why? Like, I understand these people are paid by the military and they take an oath to the military. And I'm like, just don't go. Like, just don't go. But I know they will because they do.
I mean, my guess would still be that actually my best guess is that this time they're mostly going to use European forces if they can. Because, like, I mean, there's a good theory that China and Biden might think that 4 superpowers are a little bit too much, and some other countries are getting on the rise. And in 2020, China tried to make a point and like, yeah, this part of Russian territory that's actually ours and everything. I don't think they would go out straight on war with Russia like they sometimes do with India. But if Russia is busy fighting Europe and Ukraine, they can use the back door and go like, yep, that's ours now. And like for us, it wouldn't make any sense. Like there's no resources to gain. The only thing to gain from this entire situation would be a conflict. And a lot of young people going to war, which is obviously going to be traumatic. Like if they actually draft people, I think I would get in and really try to just stop it or get shot. Like going into the military. No, I'm totally on the training. The ones on the battlefield, like, okay, we're taking this over. Fuck the politicians. We're separate. We're being separatists now.
Yeah, that would be a good way to go about it.
Yeah, I mean, if they actually do that, I'm not gonna forgive any of the people who let this happen, especially some of the people who are like, oh no, this is like I've talked about that years ago, like back when Hillary Clinton was still Minister of Defense. We had a situation where it was very close to a war. She almost did it. And people were like, no, what you talking about, Dino? Europe wouldn't go to war with Russia. And now we actually have politicians like not saying the word, but it's clearly going towards the direction.
Even my neighbor, he's the Air Force, and the minute they were like calling the Air Force back up for duty, you know, like during the last couple, like in the last year, he's right away. Yeah, he's gonna go do it. Even though he's a fan, I'd be like, just don't, just don't. Like, that's why I think I've talked to you or other. Like I get in fights with my guy about it because I'm like, he's the motherfucker who's like trained to go against the people, even though they say they will never go against the people. And I'm like, but he would like.
Yeah.
These are the people who would, you know, the ones who are just like right away, just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the only people who will get a loss is like I know some Russians who are afraid, who have been afraid over the past years from conflict because, I mean, Europe plays it like, yeah, we didn't provoke them and everything. And when you're Putin, yeah, he's not a nice guy. Absolutely not. But one thing the Russians actually kind of get is, or a lot of the Russians I've talked to get is, the friends I have, they don't have the mindset where they go like into politicians and totally trust them. Like a friend of mine talked to me that was, I think, somewhat last year, or maybe I think somewhat last year, and where some German politicians said something about Russia or something, and everybody jumped into the German politicians and like her colleagues because she's employed by a German company. And everybody goes like, oh, the government has to be right and everything. And people here are way too trusting in politicians. They politicians, they can't do bad.
They're literally projected. They're literally the only people who can do bad over and over and over again.
Yeah, like, oh, if they can't do bad, why do they have immunity?
Yeah. This is totally unrelated, but one of my regulars, Joe, it's good to hear you got that medicine finally. He's been trying to get meds for his dad, and they weren't letting him get it. It's good to
Thing you got it
hear.
done.
Fuckers trying to mess with that shit. But yeah, the politicians and that's what's so weird too. But I guess it's the whole thing with the academics and getting the communism or neo-Marxism, whatever, and just bringing the kids up in this and like teaching them all this shit. So like government's always good and can't question them, and
But I would also say like that we do have a lack of a lot of people asking themselves like what they want to do with their lives or anything. Like if you talk to a lot of young people, they go like, "Oh, I want a good job. I want to get good payment. Oh, good house and everything." Like I know what I want in life. I do want a nice, good community, somewhere where we can have like some campfires and everything, where we can watch the stars and just sit together and do a job which I don't hate. Like that pays enough so I can do my own projects. But that is the most important thing I can see in my life. I don't need a freaking fancy house or anything. Just want your people around you.
But this Jessica's that could be it. And maybe the COVID stuff is starting to slow down, so they're like, oh, we gotta, along with the climate change and other wars. And thanks, Jessica's at my house this weekend. Thank you for she left some hummus. I was eating your hummus last night. But yeah, the politicians, this is say, oh yeah, posted same here in America. They're like, they can do no wrong. They can do no wrong. Even when they're actively hurting them, they're actively taking their jobs away. They're actively ruining their lives, and they're like, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely. I mean, like if you look into Europe and ask young people, like, do you want to get a house? Some people say yes, but they will go into debt and pay like $500,000 up to $1 million for a freaking house. It's like, so it's not really a realistic option. And on the other hand, the politicians go like, yeah, why is it the birth rates are declining? Because people cannot really afford children.
sure. And they gotten so many people in so far in debt with school and stuff too, which who knows if it's all like planned, like I don't know. They're gonna enslave whoever's left to do all the like actual work, like to keep the electricity going and stuff.
I mean, here it's not the schools, like, because we have blah 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 free education and shit, but people massively go into debt to keep up with technology. I need the most modern smartphone. I make like maybe 3K per month if I'm a good earner, and I'm going to spend like 1K every half year on a new phone. Oh, and I got to have a new fancy car, which is like 60K. Why do you spend 60K on a freaking car?
Yeah, we've definitely talked. Yeah, people have gotten so tricked into the keeping up with the Joneses shit, and it's like, you idiot. Like, the only way I can live like a dumb bitch now is because I didn't keep up with the Joneses, and I was always like, I'm broke, I can't buy anything. That's how it goes, Now it's all like,
yeah, know your game, play your cards right. And this is what I'm planning to do this year. Getting further in the driver's license process and everything, getting further in the car process, doing some things that help to get some better paying jobs, up to a point where I probably have a job which is good for financing shit. And in between, checking how shit goes. I mean, like, who knows what's up with the crypto bubble right now? That shit's been going down. Is the economic crisis hitting now?
No, I know. I was with my parents yesterday, and they're probably might be kind of moving or whatever. And then we're like, but then we like make all these plans, but then we're like, but in case shit actually hits the fan, which it very well could, we have to make all these other plans, dude. Well, not plans, but at least all these plans could fucking go out the window in a heartbeat. So,
I mean, I'll mostly improvise and figure things out, and either works or not.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like that's how a lot of people live their lives beforehand. It was like you you figure things out as you go and whatever. But apparently, people planned to go to college, and now I have to pay it off for them because their plan didn't go as it planned. Whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I did not get the good job. Well, work can kind of suck.
Yeah. I have to actually go to work. I didn't just get out of high school and get like the CEO job. I mean, what? It's like, oh, okay.
What are they talking about? What's this experience shit?
So dumb. They're like, college is the experience. They're like, no, college just means you showed up to class, passed the classes. Like which is, there is a persistence factor of it to it where it's like, yes, you learn, but obviously they don't teach the job skills anymore, so.
Yeah, I mean, every job skill you've got to learn. You've got to have a little bit of patience, and like we've talked about it. But if you get some people from university into just into logistics and like packaging or something, some of the people who get their college degrees are incapable of folding a box.
Just a simple job, which it seems simple, but these college people can't do it. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, they go like, I'm overthinking everything, and then you have all those great laws where you can't tell them to shut the fuck up and be like, yeah, dude, shut your freaking head, because you think you are thinking. When it comes to work, I'm telling you, you're doing the opposite.
That's real.
Yeah.
All right, it's been an hour. I don't know if you want to keep. I don't really have to get a little bit of work done around the house. I had to do work. That's why I was late to get to you a little bit, because I had to do work I forgot about this morning. I was like, oops, got it done.
Yeah. No, I got to send in some emails. I do some stuff for like the unemployment shit and everything until I actually have a work contract again. Then I can be like, bye, guys. I'm just getting some money from you. Got a new job. Leave me alone.
Woohoo. I hope it'll work out. You'll get it here.
Yeah, probably. All right. So that's
all right. Well, thanks for filling us in. Yeah, thanks for filling us in. Glad to know you're okay still.
Guys, learn from Austria. Don't trust the politicians.
Ever.
All right.
All right. Thanks everyone watching, and I will see people on the Twitter side.
Bye.
Bye.